Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attempt to show you how to set up your Follow-Up Boss account and your Mailbox Power account to get them running so you can set up some automations to send direct mail. So we're going to start inside your Follow-Up Boss account, and the first thing you'll do is go into your admin account and you're going to go over to integrations. And then you're going to scroll down and find the Mailbox Power. You want to click this on and make sure that it's enabled. So I'll go ahead and enable it. The very first thing we have to make sure this is going to work is to make sure that the email address you have in your Follow-Up Boss account matches the email address you have in Mailbox Power. So that's another really key thing. Mine did not do that when I'm trying to set this up initially because I set this Mailbox Power account up a long time ago. Had a totally different email in here, and same thing with my sample account in Follow-Up Boss. So they didn't match. So I've come in and actually tried to reset my my Follow-Up Boss email, see if it's going to work. So let's hope it does. So they should both be matching. So now the next thing we need to do is go to your API. And you're going to create a key. I'm going to delete this one and start over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to create a key that's going to be specifically for Mailbox Power. So I'm just going to call it that. You're only going to see this once, so if you don't copy this and make sure that you use it in the right spot, you'll have to just create another one like I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, have it handy. Just go done. All right, now in order to get these talking to each other, you have to go over to a person in your account. So I'm going to head over to one of my people, which is basically me, Test City in here. And you should now see this down here. I realized I didn't see it right off the bat, so it might take a little bit of time for this to show up into an account. So just make sure that you check back if it's not here. I actually had to check a couple of different accounts, but I'm basically going to connect this so that we get the two talking. So now it says Follow-Up Boss API key, so that's the key. And I'm going to paste it in and hope it works. Okay, so it's showing me that it's working, or trying to. So let's see what happens. Okay, and so it connected, and now my next step is to select a group to send it to. So in this case, because this person was already in here, I'm going to go ahead and just add them to that CRM group test that I already had set up. This is a group inside of Mailbox Power that I already set up in here. It's just a test. So for everybody who comes in here, the people that you want to get into Mailbox Power, you can do that. But so everybody's going to need to be set up to go into that group based on the group that you set up that is inside Mailbox Power, which I'm going to show you in a minute, so that the right automation goes on over there. Okay. Now, in the meantime, I am also going to show you how to do this inside of your Zapier account, because I think it's important that you have the Zapier thing also working. So let's just be sure that it's working. I'm actually going to do one other thing. I'm going to go out. I'm going to try to pick up another person here. See what happens. I don't know why that not everybody in here is going to show up, is not showing up in here. Let me just check this one. Yeah, Mailbox Power for some reason does not want to connect that other one, so it's kind of weird. But everybody that you want to be on Mailbox Power, you can pick out as you're adding them in your account. If you're going to do it this way, you can by just turning them on in here and adding them. Now, honestly, I don't know 100% whether or not this is going to work automatically. So my feeling is you should go into Zapier and do this and not do this here, because from what I'm reading from the training that I was reading up on, you're going to be limited on what you're going to be able to do. So you're going to have to connect everybody in here. It looks like manually when you add them in. I don't know if there's a way to add them one by one or bulk. So for me, I would rather see you do this through Zapier, so it will zap in automatically every time. So this seems kind of bulky to me to just connect this every time. So every time you have a new lead that you want this to be on, it seems kind of nutty to me. But that's my take on it from my own training. But what I've seen, I don't see any other way to do it by this direct integration. So that's why I'm going to show you how to do it in Zapier. And if you've never used Zapier, it's a third-party software that gets two pieces of software talking to each other. Actually was working on a Lofty version of this. I'm going to actually delete this step right here. Actually, I'll just start from scratch so you can see what I'm doing. If I go back to my Zaps, we're going to create a new Zap. Just click on Create and just create a new one. New Zap. There's many ways to get to this point, but I'm just going to show you where I'm starting. Okay, now I never use this thing. This aggravates me, so I just kick down here because it never does what I want it to do. I'm going to come here and do follow up boss. Just type in follow up, and it's not there. Follow up boss. So that's your first step. You're getting the leads from there over to your Mailbox Power account. So let's go to follow up boss, and we're going to go choose a trigger event. Now, how you trigger your direct mail to send is totally up to you. I really don't know what it is anybody wants to do specifically. I personally would probably do it based on a tag being added. So if you add a tag in your follow-up boss account, as soon as you add that, they'll get added to this Zap. And so that's what I'm going to suggest you do, but you can do it for any depending on what you're doing this mailing for. But I would guess that quite often it's going to be based on something specific that's going to cause you to want to send some direct mail, and it's not going to be when a new lead gets added. So, because you're not going to send direct mail to everybody, I wouldn't think. You know, maybe you would, but it wouldn't make sense because that'd be a lot of money spent for leads that probably aren't going to be that great. It just depends, I guess, what you got going on in your account. So I would go add a tag, right? So then you want to connect your account. Well, you need to get your API key, but this is now a different API key. This is related to your Zapier account, right? So I need an API key specifically for this. So I'm going to go back over to my, let's see where I'm going here. I'm going to go back over here and go to admin. And I also want to go back to integrations and just click on this just to see if there's anything I had to integrate, which there is not. It just says need help, go get it. So instead, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get a new API key, and this one's going to be strictly for Zapier. So I'm going to put Zapier in here, create a new one. And then I'm going to copy that sucker. Okay. Then I'm back over here and I'm going to go ahead and add in my, I'm going here to connect a new account. So that's the accounts where I'm going. So I'm going here, boom, and I'm putting that key in here. That's my follow-up boss key so I can get these connected. Sorry for the confusion. I'm bouncing all over the place trying to get this to work. Okay, next. Now my next step is going to take it to Mailbox Power. So I'm going to do Mailbox Power. So I just type in Mailbox Power, and we're going to connect these two, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go grab my API key and put that in here. Okay, so now I'm inside my Mailbox Power account, and I scroll down here. This thing gets in the way. I don't like that thing. Scroll down here and go to View, Zapier API key, and you'll have a special key for that. Copy that, and then head back over to your Mailbox Power account and choose your event. Now, what are you telling it to do when it comes into Mailbox Power? You have a choice to just create a new contact, create or update a new contact, delete a contact, or remove a contact from a group. Well, we're going to do it when we create a new contact, and we need to connect these. So we're going to do the same thing here. And yes, continue to Mailbox Power to get that working. And boom, these two are talking to each other now. Okay. Now I'm going to continue to see what other choices we have, because at this point, depending on what this tag is and what your plan is between Follow-Up Boss and what you're going to send, you want to make sure that you have a contact group created over here, because you're going to basically put them into that contact group. Whatever that tag is that's going to trigger this, you're going to add them to that contact group. I've got a number of different ones here. I just put in CRM group test a little earlier, so you can do whatever you want. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is make sure that we're taking all of the fields and matching them up. I got to run a test from here to here, so I'm actually going to go back because I skipped the test, plus the tag name, which I actually did not set up in Follow-Up Boss, so we need to get a tag, so I'll just call it CRM test. Tag name, CRM test, and then let's see if we can get it to work. Okay, We're going to test the trigger. I don't have anything with CRM test in it right now, but that's okay. I'm just going to, well, actually, let's go back and add a tag to one of those. Let's see what happens. Let's go back over, go back in here and go back to my people. And we'll just add a tag to one of these people. And that's going to be add a tag. That's going to be my CRM test group. Hopefully it's in here. Oh, you know what? Because I don't have a tag, I actually need to create one, right? So I'm basically just typed in CRM test here. I'm going create a new tag. So that's all we need to do. Add the new tag. So that group now is the one that's going to trigger getting this one started in the Zap, right? So let's go ahead and test the trigger. I don't know if it's going to work because I'm kind of doing it backwards, but let's go ahead and test that trigger and see if anybody comes through. Because we need some people to come through here in order for me, or a person, in order for me to do the matching of the fields. So this worked because I add the tag to it, right? So now that works. Continue to the next record. Okay, now I'm going to create or update the contact, which I'm doing, which is going to end up inside the account. And I already did all that. So now I'm going to come here, and now this is going to get added to that CRM test group inside of Mailbox Power, because that's what's going to tell me which automation to start over here. Okay, so now I'm going to get my first name. I'm going to start matching this stuff up. So I've got first name. Don't just ignore it because I got everything in here kind of backwards. I got a last name, first name, last name. There's no last name. Company name, you probably don't need that. You probably want an address if there's an address in there. So make sure, even if there isn't an address in that person, make sure that you put one in, because you're sending direct mail. So we need to make sure we have an address in here. Let's put the whole thing in. So we're just going to go down and match all these up. Let's go in here. Arizona, state, postal code, or zip code, whatever they're calling it, address code. There we go. If it's going to other countries, if you want to add their email in here so you can just make sure and match things up, it's always a good idea. Even though you may never use their email inside of Mailbox Power, it's good to have. Maybe the phone too if you want to do that. It's totally up to you. If there's anything else, if there's a spouse, you want to get them in here because you want their names to pull into a card, make sure that you add the spouse's name. And again, if it's not part of that person's account, it's still in here. So go and match it up. So I could probably even type in spouse here. Custom spouse name. Okay. And then anything else that you want to put in. The birth dates, if you're going to be sending birthday cards, anniversary months, that could be the anniversary of the day that they close, and any other merged fields that you might have custom fields out of there. Let's go ahead and just put in the anniversary day. Let's put a day in. You could actually, let's see, anniversary day. I don't know if there's going to be one in here. Closing date. Let's see what kind of date. This is probably a field that you want to put in. Custom close date. How about that? Deal close date. Let's put that in because that's going to be kind of the day that it closes. Okay. All right. Cool. Now, you want to make sure that this says true. It's probably waiting on that. And anything else that's missing, this should be green so that you could forward, continue going. Okay, it does need a country, so make sure that you put the country code in here if you can. So that's what's holding it up. So let me see if I got a country area here. Country, address country. Okay, there we go. See, I noticed that's why it's not going continue. And I think down here where I hit true on this, I was wrong on this. You want to make sure it says always create a new contact. I would say no, because if they're already in your system, you don't want them to have another address in there and have it in there again. So that wouldn't make sense. It's probably going to match up based on emails because that's what I usually see happen. So I would just go false, but let's go continue. And then we want to test the steps. So our goal is to make sure that we see that this information gets into the account. And you want to, how you're testing it is making sure that, okay, no mapping field. Failed to create a contact and last name is missing because there is no last name in that account. It probably didn't pull it in because that particular person didn't have a last name. Let's try it again. Let me make sure. Last name. There's no data. So it doesn't like the fact that there's no last name when it's trying to get it in there. So you might want to make sure that you have at least a period in the last name box. So if I go back over here, this is just an email that I stuck in here. So it's not taking it. So let's do an edit to it real quick. We can do that. Patti testing Mailbox Power. That's what my last name's going to be. Okay. I always like to show when there are problems, because when there's problems, if I just cut all this out, you'll experience the same thing and then you'll be wondering. So I just go ahead and show you because it makes sense. All right, I might need to retest this first step again. So when you do that, you can come back here and retest. So when I go back up to this first thing, I'm going to go to continue. And if you want to retest, you can come here and you go here, find new records. It's not going to find new ones because I didn't really put a new one in, but it's going to refresh whatever I have. So it's just pulling in this again. So it should have the last name in here, which it did. Okay, so it's pulling the new one in. All right, cool. Let's continue with this test number 2, and let's hit continue. And let's hit continue again. It's still not finding the last name for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that, because it's there. Okay, what am I doing wrong? So let's figure it out. Okay, basically I just went back in and matched up the fields is all I did, and it worked. So see, I just went back here and matched these back up. I just deleted these. I went this way and went back and deleted it and matched it back up again, and then it worked. So who knows? All right, now this is what it's going to look like when it's done, right? It's ready to go, so you can publish it. And I'll go ahead and publish. And now our next step is to see if this test got into the Mailbox Power account. So I'm going to head over to Mailbox Power and go to the contacts. Hopefully it got in here. And let's see if it did. I got other people in here. Patti testing. There it is. No, there it is right there. Okay. So that we know it worked. All right. So that's the good thing. Now, the next thing is once it's over here, it's getting added automatically to that particular contact list, right? So that means we have to create an automation over here for whatever it is you want to send. So what you're going to do first is to go in and create your templates. So you're going to go, let's see, design your templates, and then you can pick out what you want. So you have ways to do it by occasions, or you can do it by categories. I will say that I was looking to do a letter, and I swear there was a way to do letters in here, but for some stupid reason, I'm not seeing it now. So then I thought, well, there might be a way to upload that letter, and I swear there was a way to do that, but to be honest with you, I can't find it right now. So if you're wanting to send direct letters, we'll probably have to do a little research on how to get that set up in here. But in the meantime, what I would do is I would come in and create a set of preset things that you want to do. So if I'm going to create something maybe that's going to send, you know, one today and one 6 days from now and one 6 months from now or whatever, you can come in and create all the content that you want. There's all kinds of templates in here for various things. So dig around, see what you can find that's going to work for you, and then you can edit it. Now, I'm really not going to get into editing on this training, but you should be able to come in and I'll just show you really quickly. If I want to use, maybe I just want to send, I don't want to do birthday because I won't be sending that all the time, but here's one for just a reminder maybe, and just you can put something in. Actually, let me back up, because you're going to do this related to real estate. You can actually come in here and run a search specifically for everything real estate related, which is kind of nice. And so you can come in here and pick out, and you can also save your favorite designs. If you want to save some, you can save them, and then they'll always be here, right? So I've already gone in and created some designs, but I think the key is, let me pull up one real estate design just to show you. The key here is to personalize these things. So if I want to just send something every few weeks, I'm going to pick out one and I'm going to go personalize this design. And the key is to put in fields that will pull in the people's first names and last names if you want to do that, right? So if I don't want to personalize that. I'm going to personalize this card. Hit personalize. Okay, and once you pull it up, you can see here there are fields that are here. You've got a whole bunch of merge fields right here of all the things you can pull in. So assuming you have this information that's come in from the system, again, you got to make sure that whatever information you want to pull in, it could be custom fields that are coming out of Follow Up Boss that you bring in here. If you want to get really specific, that'd be great. But for the very minimum, I would at least put their first names in. And these are this one's already preloaded with that, but you can come in here and edit this. So if you want to say something else like hello, you can edit this. And if you and then if you want to drag it around, you just click on this and go to let's see, we click on this, and then you can transform it. Once you get your hands on it, you can then drag it around and do whatever you want, right? And then that's just the first page of the card. Then you can go here, and it's going to be the inside top of the card, and you can change the backgrounds and all this by going over here. Again, I'm not getting into deep editing in this training. And then same thing here. Right now, your name's going to pull in automatically because you've already set your account up to put all that in. It's putting in their name and the spouse's name if you have that. And then we can just put whatever you want. Just click on this, type up whatever you want inside the box here, and let it do its thing. Okay, so whatever you want. Now, once you're done, you want to save that and exit and continue. Now you have it saved. Now you've got your templates ready, and your goal now is to create a workflow or automation so you can schedule this in a way that's going to make sense for what you want to do. So your next step is to go to Saved Automations and go here, create a new automation. And in a case where you're not going to send something annually, if you're going to do a birth date, you can just click on that one. It'll automatically pull in the birth date that you have put into the person's account that has been automatically added. Assuming you've either done the direct API integration with Follow Up Boss or you've done it through Zapier, it's the same thing in here, right? The drip campaign automation is going to be the one we're probably going to use if we're going to send a various number of letters throughout a time frame. Maybe in the first 6 months we send direct mail pieces, whatever that is. This is the one we're going to use. But you also have a way to set this up based on a special event, which in a case I would probably use this for maybe the anniversary for the closing date. But for this one, some other special event. But I would still say, because it's going to ask you for the special event date, you got to make sure that information pulls in across when you're doing the integration, okay? But we're going to use this one to create this thing. So I'm going to go click on that one, and I'm going to scroll down and go create new automation. And, I got to name it. Okay, we're just going to call this CRM test automation. And then create a new one. Gotta name it. All right, so then your first thing you're going to send is just going to be right here and add an item. So whatever you've got preset, and I went in and set up a few things, so I'm just going to add a few cards, and then so I've added the first one, right? Okay, so once we added that card, we have an option over here to say when do we want to send this. So if you want to say, letter 1, whatever you want to call it, then you can then say, how often do I want to send this? How far into this? Once they get added to this account, you can either send immediately right here, or it can wait some days. So maybe I want the first one to go 3 days out, and I'm going to save that, right? Save that. Now, once you save it, you're going to see here, add a shipment. So these are all based on days. So you can actually put in here if you want. This does say send 3 days after added. So I can add another shipment now, and I'd add that item, and it can be another card. So let's add something else. Let's add that one, add a shipment. And then this one is going to be how far out? So it's going to be 7 days out from the last one, right? So I'm going to save that. So where it's waiting, this one's waiting 3 days. This one's now waiting 7 days past the previous shipment. And then we might wait 6 months for the next one. So I would add another item. And we'll go pick something else out. That's a Christmas card, but that's going to be funny. And then here I might say instead, I might go weeks, right? And maybe I'm going to go just 7 days out from that. 7 days. This was 7 days. This is 1 week, so it's basically 7 days. So you just keep going and going and going until it's done. So when the contact is added, every automation starts with a contact being enrolled in this automation. But that automation has got to be based on the contact group, right? Okay, so now we just have to tell the system which group that this will be connected to. You would think it would be here, but it's not. It's over here by Manage Recipients. And then you're going to go connect a group, and then you will connect the group that you have. Now I get the CRM group, enroll this group list. So anytime anybody comes in, it's going to be just when this group comes in. So the lead should turn on, and that should send based on that group test. So, and you can see the person that's in this one. So the one person is it. So anyway, that one is set up to enroll that contact from in there. And I'm probably going to get this sent out. Oh no, I've got a 3-day wait. So I'm actually going to take me off right now. I'm going to unenroll this contact because I don't need this. But anyway, just make sure that you've got everything set up before you turn this sucker on. You can also pause it, but it is live right now. I'm actually going to pause it because I'm not going to use this, but you can do that, and that's how you turn it on. So once you're in, after you do the setup, you configure everything. You just go back to show you where. But you're actually going to manage the recipients right here, and then you will come here and connect the group. I already added it, but you find the group and you just enroll that group, those people in it. So as they come in, anytime there's someone new, that new person will get added to this. All right. Does it. If you have any questions, reach out. Hopefully this was helpful to you.